If you want comfort, go read a cookbook. If you want transformation, welcome to the Strange Sculpting Podcast. I'm Don Strange. We kill excuses, prioritize protein, and build discipline. Let's get to work.
Most guys have traded their 50-year-old body, their physique, for a dad bod. But this guy got on my podcast today, Topher. Topher traded his bad dad bod for a freaking six-pack abs. And it took him about 80 days. He actually did this book, The 40-Day Fix, twice. He just didn't finish. He got ripped. I can't wait to show you the transformation because it's mind-blowing. So I'm going to tell you this right now. If you're over 40 or 50 and you think your best days are behind you, stick around, man. And actually send it to somebody who says he's got a lot of excuses, says he's using genetics, he's using I'm over the hill or whatever it is. Send it to somebody that believes that. Or if you believe it, make sure you watch this because Topher's body, as you will see, because of his habits, has completely changed because of what he's done. But if you want participation trophy, go somewhere else. We're just going to talk about truth. And I got somebody who's more real than your hairdo here, Topher, man. He knows some stuff. But I'm going to start off by reading from my book, The 40-Day Fix. And right above Topher, at any point, if you want to grab a copy of that, there's a QR code that you can scan and you can get that book. It's great. It's my favorite book ever. I guess it should be because I wrote it, right? Okay, so I'm going to read from my book. Page 30. It's about processed foods. Here's the truth. Nobody in human history ever got fat eating God's food. Adam didn't blow up because he had one too many late night fig binges. Nobody ever blacked out on a grilled chicken. The obesity epidemic didn't start in the Garden of Eden. It started when little Debbie got her own snack aisle. Let's get something straight. I like junk food, and I really do. Left alone, I got a palate of a toddler. I like McDonald's. Yeah, I said it. That's embarrassing for most people to admit. You mention McDonald's in public, and suddenly even the lady in Walmart wearing pajamas and house slippers acts like she's too good for it. Here's a reality check. Somebody's lying. McDonald's serves 26 million Americans every single day. That's not a few closet fry lovers. That's nearly 90% of the population every year. Translation, everybody eats it. They just don't want to admit it. Look, I get it. This stuff tastes good and it's everywhere. But here's the real deal. You're going to eat it. You're going to make an exception every now and then. But that's not the rule. The rule is eating clean most of the time. Don't lie about it and don't pretend it's not sabotage your goals. Own your choices, all of them. Common sense check. The point. We all eat processed food. We just lie about it. But here's what calories actually look like when you compare real food to fake food. An Oreo, 53 calories. An apple, 95 calories. You'd have to eat 21 apples to equal half a sleeve of Oreos. Asparagus, you need 35 pounds just to hit 2,000 calories. Veggie chips, 15 tiny bags, about 10 ounces is less than one bag of Dorito, and you're already halfway there. That's less than one bag of Doritos, and you're already there. You only need 15 bags of veggie chips to get to 2,000 calories, which is tiny. I reiterated that point. See the difference. Real food fills you, fake food fools you. And let's be real. If you ever get so fat, if I ever get so fat I can't fit in the front seat of my truck, it won't be because I ate too many apples. It'll be because I lived on Oreos and healthy chips. And if the word fat makes you flinch, that's your body telling you something needs to change. Fat isn't just physical, it's mental. If the word fat triggers you, ask yourself why. It's not the word that's doing the damage to your health. It's the choices the word describes. Time to wake up and fight back. Anyway, from the 40-Day Fix book, grab it. It's on Amazon. QR code's right there. Now I'm going to ask you some questions. Topher?
Yes, sir.
You're 50 years old. You just
54.
did a men's physique. 50 what?
54. I just turned 54.
54. That's good. Happy birthday, man. When you were on the 40-Day Fix, did you ever feel like you were starving? And also, before we do that, though, let me show you his transformation. Sorry. Let's look at his transformation. It's going to blow your mind. Look at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
80 days. I think that was right around 80 days, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Or do you
that was right
remember?
around 80. That was right around 80 days. Yeah.
That's
That was, I mean, that was
unfreaking.
even, and that was even early. That was a year before the competition, actually. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. That was your first transformation photo.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Yep.
back to this. You did the 40-day fix twice, 80 days.
Yes.
Were you ever
And
starving?
I was never starving. But you got to figure I came from some bad practices too. That, in order to
Mhm.
lose weight, you got to fast and you do all of these things. So, I think the way that the 40-day fix was laid out, I didn't have a hunger problem, where I was like, oh, I'm feeling starving, or gosh, I'm ravenous. I just never had it because it was broken down over the course of the day. I had always had food coming in, which I think was the key to really juicing my metabolism too. It was, instead of doing this, what we call fasting, and I'm not going to eat till 4 p.m. The 40-day fix had me eating, and I didn't know I was on the 40-day fix when I was on it, Don. That was really good
I
news
know
on
you
your
didn't. I
part.
didn't tell you. I just did
But
it.
I think ingesting the food over the course of the day just helped keep my metabolism firing, and it kind of corrected my body's momentum of processing food. So now my body's able to be firing on all cylinders while I'm awake and doing things, and then at night doing its job. So it really kind of reset my entire body's expectations to food. So it was actually, it was really good. I didn't really starve at all.
That's amazing. I'm going to ask you this question too, because you did a competition. I'm going to show the picture of the competition in a minute. But the competition, the last couple weeks, I just remember your body responded very well because you adhered to the program very well. It was amazing what you did. You did everything I said to the T.
Yeah.
And I don't remember. It was like last year. So were you ever hungry? Because before a show, a lot of times I put people on the same kind of programs, 40-day fix.
I think
Very
I
similar.
think
Were you
I
hungry?
think well, let's step back a second. I think the 40-day fix and a diet for competition are two different things. I think the 40-day fix is more, we want to lose weight, we want to get healthy. I think that the dietary restrictions on competition is a little bit more, straight, it's a lot more harder to follow. And I think there was times during that 3 or 4 weeks where I did get kind of hungry, but never like ravenous. I mean, we're
Yeah.
we're talking really low calories, and I think some of that could have been psychological too. Because after you've eaten, 45 chicken breasts, you're kind of like psychologically like, oh my gosh, I'm hungry, I can't eat another chicken breast. But ultimately, there was never like a starving kind of
That
mentality.
that is
But there
amazing. I'm so
there
happy.
is a difference. There is a difference, I think, though, between getting ready for a competition diet and doing the 40-day fix per se.
I'm going to tell you the difference in a minute, but that is amazing that you weren't starving, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
know your
yeah,
body
yeah.
responded well. You adhered to the program. And as a trainer, I never make things, I told you this at the beginning, whenever you first trained me, I don't make things unnecessarily hard just to make them hard. A lot of people do that. It's like, you're going to
I
be
do.
super disciplined. It's
I
hard. I
make
know
it
you
hard
do.
on
Most
myself.
people, most bodybuilders do anyway, but you don't make things unnecessarily hard just to make them hard. And a lot of people have that problem. And that's
Right.
okay. I mean, that actually makes you good because you're always trying to do the best you possibly can. I always say if you're hard on yourself, life will be infinitely easier on you. And that's what you are. That's the reason why you are who you are. But what's interesting, you said the 40-day fix, and you're going to read the book one of these days, by the way. You adhered to you adhered to the program, but you're a trainer too. So I want you to read this book.
Yeah, yeah,
But
for sure.
the primary difference is not so much that the foods are the same. In fact, when I wrote the 40-day fix, Topher, and everybody listening, I wrote it from the standpoint on how I train a competitor. But the difference between a competitor diet and this is only 40 days. You got to
Right,
do it if you're a competitor. You got to do it as long as I tell you to. And then
right.
plus, it's also this. You work out 6 days a week. 40-day fix is 3 days, 5 days max. You don't have to get 7,000 steps in. If you're a competitor of mine, you're going to do whatever I tell you to do. If I tell you
Yeah,
to walk 20,000 steps a day, you got to do it. But it's different for
yeah,
everybody. It's not a one size fits all. But the
yeah.
40-day fix, as far as the food wise, Topher, it's identical to what you're eating because I strip out all energy macronutrients. It's just your bare needs, the bare necessities. It's the standards.
Oh, it
First
was.
principles first. A lot of
It
people,
was the bare.
what'd you
It was
say?
the bare necessities. It was the bare
Oh,
necessities.
absolutely. And you actually, I think I transitioned you that the first diet I did, I wasn't planning on putting a 40-day fix. It's kind of a lifestyle thing. But I realized you're not doing a lifestyle. You're not even eating what I'm telling you necessarily. You're making it harder because that's what you do. You're like,
Yeah.
I'm eating tuna. Okay, now I'm going to transition next thing. I admitted in my book that I have if I let myself go unchecked, I've got a palate of a toddler. And so whenever you started working with me, and then you also did the show, what was the hardest fake food? And whenever I say fake food, actually I say junk. It's really not food at all that you ate. Because I'm going to tell you this too. That this is fascinating, Topher.
So
A
what do you
lot of
mean? Like,
stuff.
what do you
What'd
mean?
you say?
What
I'm
makes
gonna clarify. A lot
yeah,
of stuff we call foods not food at all. I mean, like Cheetos are not really food; it's just a
that's my
styrofoam
favorite.
piece of
Yeah.
cheese. Yeah, exactly. You love that. So what's fascinating about this? It's just junk. It's not food at all. It's food in name only. Just because something has calories doesn't mean it's food. Gasoline, literally. Did you know this? Over gasoline has energy. It has calories in it. 1 ounce of gasoline's 300 calories. 1 ounce of paraffin wax is 255 calories. You know, the Starburst. I don't know if they're made of paraffin wax, very similar.
Yeah.
And so just because it has calories doesn't mean it's food. And there's so many foods in your snack aisle that's labeled food. Like it's not food at all. It's just in a box. It's got some colorful labels on it. So my question was this: whenever you started the 40-day fix, and then during the competition, what was the one fake food that you had to stop lying to yourself about before you started? What was the biggest challenge? What was the foods that was like, man, because we were talking before we got in there, it's actually hard. You have to change your lifestyle. So what was the hardest to give up?
Ice cream, I think, was the biggest. I mean, I actually Cheetos. You said Cheetos, and I think you're kind of making a joke because I think early on in the 40-day fix, there was like one day I had bought I got like a little snack pack of Cheetos, and I got on the phone with you. I was like, oh my gosh, Don, I had this little bag of Cheetos. It was 140 calories. I think that it's mental. It was a mental thing for me for all of those foods, but I was able to overcome it pretty quick. I mean, I think a lot of people have problems giving up some of that stuff. I just didn't. It didn't seem as hard for me because I had a goal in mind. And from what you said, and from your book too, I mean, if you're not going to be disciplined, you're not going to get the results that you want. And I think that started resonating with me more. So my bag of Cheetos that I had became more of a symbol of like what I'm not doing anymore,
That's great, man.
and really kind of living by that. It's not as easy. I mean, after the competition, after going, I was on that pretty strict diet for 4 weeks. After the competition, you gave me a week off, and I did everything that you're supposed to do with a week off. I went and ate burgers, and I was pounding down, everything that I thought I missed. But it didn't take 4 days, and I was calling you up and I was saying, Don, I need my diet back. I need to have this food back because your body now, once you clean your body out, like we talked about this before, once your body's cleaned out, it responds really well to food, right? So when you're lowering and raising my calories, my body is fires on that, and it really rapidly changes. More so than I think a lot of people, because I follow it so well. But after the 4 days of kind of binging, my body just kind of felt out of sorts again. And I think that becomes a revelation to you that the changes that you've made in your body and to become healthier have really started to take effect, in your lifestyle, what we talk about, lifestyle changes. So that when you do start entertaining those Cheetos, you're like, oh gosh, I guess I don't want a Cheeto freak. That's not going to be good for my health, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not as strict about it as some people. Like, I don't, with my clients that cheat on their diets, I'm not like, oh, don't eat Cheetos, don't eat Oreos. I was, hey, just tell me if you're going to do it. I just want to know, because it is hard to do. We are built on a society that that tells us that these foods are good. And God forbid something unhealthy has 1 gram of protein on it, because that's going to be the biggest thing on that bag,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we get fooled when we start looking at these kinds of foods. And I wouldn't be surprised if in the next year or two Cheetos comes up with a way to promote their healthy, their stuff is healthy. Oh, we got a 0.5 gram of protein for every
Oh,
4 servings, so you eat some
100%.
Cheetos. So I don't know. I mean, that was the hardest thing, I think, was giving up those things. And those always come from, like you say, lifestyle. I'm at the gas station, I'm grabbing a Coke and a bag of Cheetos, and instead of really kind of being more methodical about the nutritional value of things.
Yeah. I think you actually kind of answered even my next question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Maybe you can reiterate some points or give some more clarity into this. But how did your cravings change once you stopped chasing Little Debbie down the snack aisle?
Well,
How long did it take?
I
And tell me
mean,
about that.
it probably took a good, 3 or 4 weeks, I would think, of solid protein getting into my body. So that was the one element that I thought was really most important, was the high protein. High protein in itself, when you have a high protein diet, and you can look this up, it actually reduces your cravings for sweets. And so when I talk to people about, well, I like to have my ice cream at night. I love ice cream too, and if I went to the ice cream every time I thought about it at night, I would not be looking like I did. But that's where I kind of reiterate to them the nutritional value of proteins and keeping high proteins in your diet, because it does reduce that craving for sweets, and some of the junk foods that we have available to us. So.
Well, what's interesting about that too, Topher, you can use this nugget next time you talk to one of your clients. It seems like every time I talk to you, I try to give you a nugget. I've been a trainer for 20 years and you're 1 year in, but you're so dedicated and your physique speaks for itself. You can tell your clients next time that protein, actually, there's something called the thermal effect of food. And whenever you eat protein, it burns about 30% of those calories just to fire up the engine. And so if you have a 300 calorie protein chicken breast, is mainly protein, 300 calories, your body burns 30% of those just as fuel. So 90
Right.
calories of that. So functional fuel that you're going to actually possibly store is 210 calories. Plus, whenever you understand nutrients in food, the likelihood of protein converting to fat in your body. I got a silver Cadillac Escalade and if in the garage, and if it would be the likelihood of my wife painting it black overnight. It could happen, but it's probably not going to.
Probably not going to.
Protein just doesn't convert well to fat. Okay, now I'm going to read another segment of my book. My favorite chapter. Gosh, Topher, I'm telling you, man, you got to read this book, Topher. You're going to love this book.
I've been in the first chapter. I'm like trying to get through it. So I say you need an audio book. I spend so much time in the gym.
Oh, I got you. Well, the audio book is going to be out in the April. I was hoping to get it done earlier, but unfortunately, it's not going to happen. Got too many irons in the fire. But my favorite chapter in the book, for anybody listening, is chapter number 13. I might end up giving it away for free because this chapter is golden. It's called "The Myths That Deserve to Die." Sacred cows meet the slaughterhouse. As a trainer, I mean, how many myths that people believe that are crazy. Like here's this one. Number one is you can't outtrain can't outtrain a bad diet. Number two is carbs make you fat. Number three, weights make women bulky. Number four, fat burners will melt fat. Number five, I don't have time. Number six, you need hours of cardio to lose weight. Number seven, cheat days speed up metabolism. By the way, whenever you read these, you might be shocked at what you get, because I'm very balanced on my approach on it. So you might think you get one thing and then it switches, gives you the nuance behind the statement. But the one I'm going to read right now about you, because you kicked this one in the butt, is myth number 8. Fitness is all about motivation. Number 8, once again, I'm going to say it again. Myth number 8, fitness is all about motivation. Motivation is a sugar rush. It feels good for a moment, then it crashes and leaves you right back where you started. If you rely on motivation, you'll never make it past the first rainy day, busy week, or bad mood. The truth, fitness isn't about motivation. It's about discipline. Discipline doesn't care about how you feel. It doesn't wait for the perfect song, perfect weather, perfect mood. Discipline shows up whether you're tired, busy, or cranky. Here's the kicker. The people who think they're motivated aren't. They're disciplined. They lace up their shoes, hit the gym, and prep their meals on autopilot because that's what they do. Not because they feel like it. If you wait for motivation to kick in, you'll still be waiting when the scale climbs another 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Motivation is a spark, discipline is the engine. Sparks burn out fast, engines keep running. Stop worshiping motivation, build discipline, and you'll never need a pep talk again. Okay, Topher, my question is this. You stepped on the stage as a physique show, and you did very well. People see the tan and the trophies, well, the medals, and they think you're motivated. The last month of the show, you were basically back on the 40-day fix. We talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
You were tired. I know this. Right now, you're not thinking back, but I talked to you. You were tired. Yeah. You were busy. You were going through some stuff because you talked, not only it was mentally draining, you had so much stuff going on. I remember that.
Yeah.
It wasn't motivation that got you through. It was the engine. It was your focus. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, well, luckily, I had been in the gym to develop these habits for a while prior to the competition. And I think that's really cementing it in. I was reading when I first started with you, I was reading a lot of books about habits, daily habits. 30 days of something, you're making a habit. And that's what I did. That's what I looked at fitness, and for those first 30 days, I did that. I was in the gym every day, regardless of how I felt. I was and I was drinking heavily at the time too. I was in the gym, regardless of how much I drank the night before. But I was in there, and some days were 30%, some days were 90%, but I was there. And that continued to set the stage for what my daily life is going to be. Right. That includes the meal prepping, that included the stage. And I never really wanted to quit, but you always question, well, what am I really doing here? I'm 54 years old and I really want to be eating 1,300 calories a day. And do I need to be up there in a bikini bottoms, all those things kind of come and go. But I think the most important thing, what got me on the stage, was the fact that at the end of the day, no matter how much sleep I lost or what I was going through, I still was there. I did the work. I still went into the gym. I still ate those chicken breasts and every can of green beans that you told me to eat. And I did that, to the best of my ability, which happened to be a good 95% of everything you told me to do. And I think that is just a testament of changing your lifestyle, changing the way you think about yourself, what's important to you, what's important to your body and your health, and I think that was really the key to getting through all that. But it's not easy, man. I see it every day. People are talking about, I need someone to work out with to be motivated. I need this and I need that. Well, when you don't have any of that stuff, you're forced to either do it or not. And you have to make the change yourself. And that's what I did.
Yeah, ultimately, people who depend on other people to spark that motivation, they'll end up falling away.
Yeah,
anyway.
and I don't think at any time I really called you up, Don, and said, I need to be motivated.
No, you never did.
I would say I need, I need a little change, or can we tweak something? I'm getting a little burnt out, or, something of some kind of encouragement, but you never were. The good thing is I never had you needing to be like, you need to get in the gym. You need to be doing, you need to do this. I think once you start to develop those habits, I think that's really the key to it, I mean, you don't need to
execute the plan.
Are you motivated to go to work? Not necessarily. Are you motivated to go mow the grass? No, you're not. You don't love mowing the grass, but you do it. And I think you look at the food and you look at the exercise the same way. I put it in the same way. Am I motivated to take 20 minutes? I went to Walmart. I got to go take a crap. Am I motivated to go sit in this stall at a Walmart to take a crap? I'm not, but I got to do it. Right. It's something I have to do. So,
well, it goes back to the motivational principles, you learn from Anthony Robbins, or that's who I heard it from. People have two motivational forces, pain and pleasure. You're not going to crap your pants, so you're going to go to the bathroom because you don't want the pain of that. You know what I'm saying? So people, whenever you face it, you don't want to face the consequences of your own actions. If you ate a cheeseburger from McDonald's, which I'm not saying don't do that. Occasionally you can have that kind of stuff. Just don't do it all the time.
Well, I think I think I look at society in a, kind of maybe a little bit different colored glasses too. I hear people justifying their bad health. I hear people justifying the way they look. And we live in a society that kind of promotes this self-image thing of like we accept everybody and but we've
Mhm.
kind of dumbed down our society when it comes to health. You know, we've kind of given the reins over to people who are unhealthy to say, "Oh, well, you're okay." And no, you're not. Your the cost of health is going up, and there's a lot of ramifications between with an unhealthy society. And I think seeing that for me helped me be more disciplined too. You know, I want to be as healthy as I can. I want to contribute to my body in healthy ways, and I want to put things in that are going to be healthy. And I don't want to just be have a dad bod and say, "Oh, well, I accept me for me." You know, I
Mm.
love me for me. Well, do you really? Because I think subconsciously we really don't. You know, I don't think when your body is unhealthy, I don't think there's a true state of harmony, you know, within
Yeah.
yourself, between your brain and your body and your spirit. So I think that we have been fed kind of a bill of goods with this. I love my self
Mm.
image, you know, and I kind of fight against that, you know, in my way with my own self. And then when I train people too, I say, hey man, it's worth being healthy. You once you get healthy, once you get to the other side, you realize what you missed, you
Oh,
know.
100%.
So
Well, like I always say, if you do what everyone else does, you'll get what everyone else gets. And so I don't think most people, 80% of the population is overweight, obese, or severely obese. Most people don't want the health consequences associated with that. I mean, I
right,
remember in year two that I think it was 2020, the Cosmopolitan had the magazine cover was this woman, and she was probably 5'1", 250, and it said, "This is the new health." That's not health. That's a lie.
yeah,
That's not healthy mentally. That's not health physically, but it's definitely not healthy physically. You could
right,
debate if you're mentally healthy or not, but you're definitely not physically healthy. So quit lying to yourself.
yeah. I
We
think
don't
too.
need more.
A lot of the people my age, in our
Mhm,
50s, we grew up in the 80s, you know, when there was a real health boom in the 80s with the aerobics and the bodybuilding, and we had a big
mhm.
explosion in the 80s. And a lot of that probably wasn't, you know, we've evolved with health
Yeah,
and food and nutrition since the 80s. So I think to killing some of those paradigms with older folks like myself, that they might have from the old days of the 80s and being in the gym and yelling and screaming and hulking out and all of this stuff. I
yeah,
think trying to end that kind of stigma for people my age kind of helps to um, in saying you know it doesn't have to be that way. You know, you can be healthy without having to have all of that um, rigmarole that we had back in the 80s. You know, so no one's expecting you to come
yeah,
in here in aerobics pants, you know, and
yeah.
bang it out.
Nobody
So
actually wants that, to be honest with you. Nobody wants to see
yeah,
you
right.
running
Not
around
at this
if you're
age.
going to do that. Yeah.
Right. So
Okay, question. A lot of guys your age, they say, I just don't have it. Back in high school. What do you say to the guy? You know what I'm saying? What do the guys that say, let me reiterate that point. The guys say, just don't have it anymore. Back in high school, I was ripped or whatever else. My God, that was 30 years ago. Why are we still talking about
right,
that? What do you say
right.
to the man that needs a pep talk before he starts taking care of his body? What's your message to him?
Well, I think yeah, that's tough. You know, it's always tough to gauge somebody's motivation because you're always when you're in that conversation, you always got to make the decision in your mind. Is this
That's
guy
right.
looking for motivation or is he just resigned to being the way he looks?
Yeah.
Right. You know, I see people in the gym and then I talk to them and I say, I've been coming to the gym for 3 or 4 years. They look like they're carrying a keg, you know, and I and they'll always say, I would love to get ripped like that. And I say it's in the diet. And when I say it's in the diet, that's when their face glaze over. Right. People, you know, like going back to
Yeah.
what I said before, we are conditioned to eat these foods. We are conditioned to be, oh, I got a dad bod now. Like, hey, I'm happy I got a dad bod, right? So I mean, this is all acceptable. We've even got to the point where you know we've legitimized in some way for single men that women actually are attracted to dad bods. You
Yeah.
know, oh yeah, I'm attracted to dad bod. Well, that's probably because you don't have a lot of choices out there. you know,
Yeah.
um, so
That's
I,
so
you know, I
funny.
come back to him and say, well, look, you know, I mean, if you want to get in shape, there's nothing that's stopping anybody from doing this. I mean, there's nothing stopping anybody from changing their diet or going to the gym, and you will get results. That's the thing that I tell everybody. If you like you told me, Don, I tell my people, if you do what I say, you will get results. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't care where you were 30 years ago, but today you're sitting in front of me. If you want to get results, you do what I say, and we go from there, right?
Absolutely. Say, Sounds like a pit bull in the background. That's actually a 70-pound golden doodle. He'll shut up
Nice. I
every
got
now.
my Doberman is over here laying down, being quiet, so you haven't gotten her excited yet. But yeah, I think that yeah, I'm not really here. I feel like I'm not really here to motivate people as much as I am here to teach, and to
Yeah.
give them the tools that they need to get their body where they want it to be. And some people have longer battles than others, and that's unfortunate, but it's still going to work. It's there it's always going to work. It's kind of like if you go drink a bottle of whiskey, you're going to get drunk. It's always going to work. You just got to
Yeah.
do it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the key. People don't want to do it, and then you get them home and you give them a diet and you give them something to follow, and they get home and they're like, I got this bag of Cheetos in here, or I got these Oreos in here. Man, what's one or two or three of these or four of these? And I think that's the bigger battle, because there's no one standing over your shoulder saying, hey man, that's not on your diet.
Yep.
And we justify that so easily. We can. It's not like we're shooting heroin, right? It's an Oreo cookie,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
Not to say that Oreos aren't as bad as heroin, but I'm just saying it's not quite heroin.
Yeah. Well, it's not going to kill you instantly. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to
Right.
have a bad Oreo
Correct. You're not
and
going
be
to eat one too
done.
many Oreos, right?
Yeah.
So that's a good question. What do you say? What's your answer to that, Don? When
Whenever
somebody comes to
people
you,
ask for motivation,
yeah,
well, I tell you what, the root word for motivation is, well, you got two words. You got motivate. Motivation comes with two words: a motive and ation. Motive means a a vision of what you want. So this is my motive. So if my motive is to say I want six pack abs to attract the hot blonde, which is not a good reason, but people use those reasons. Or if my motive is I want to have six pack, I want to be very fit and very healthy so I can live 90 years old and have watch my grandkids, play football. That's a better reason. So you got that motive. And then the second word is ation, which is a suffix meaning action. And so your motive actually gives you the fuel to act. And so weak reasons produce weak men. And so you got to have the bigger the reason, the more likely you're going to fall through. So that's why I tell people. Most people don't have enough reasons. You get enough, like you said, you got enough reasons to get in that stall because you don't want to crap your pants. You're going to do it. That's a very basic. That's
yeah,
about
yeah,
low, but the bars you could do. But in reality, if the Oreo cookie, if the first Oreo cookie put 500 pounds or 100 pounds on them, they would never eat it
right,
because they have instant. They'd feel the pain of their decision instantaneously. But life doesn't work that way. I do tell
right,
people this, Topher. Success shows up faster than failure does because success is just executing one thing right. And then if you continue doing that, you're gonna reach your destination. But success is super easy. How long did you never worked out much at all before you met me, right? Am I right? How much did you
no,
work?
I wasn't working out at all. I was,
How
going
long
to the
had it been?
club, you know,
Yeah, how long had it been since you worked out, period? How long was it? Months, years? How long was it? Did you
probably,
ever
I
work
don't
on
know.
a structured plan ever?
Yeah, so I was an entertainer back in the 90s, a male entertainer in the 90s, and I had some working out. I was doing some working out probably 95 through 97, 98,
Okay.
and
So
that's
it
about the
was
last of
20
the
plus
workout.
years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
20
20
20.
plus years ago. And
Yeah.
so relatively none. And then you did it. You got a
Yeah.
bucket of reasons you didn't follow through. So people who have big reasons get big results. Anyway, so last question I got for you. If you could well, I mean, I got two. What's the difference in your mindset now after training with me, doing the 40 fix twice, even though you didn't know that you were doing it, and until the end, I told you. And then doing the show. What's your difference in your mindset now than before?
Um, I I handle life a lot differently. Now, it's odd to say, working out. I mean, I'll just say this: working out, working with you, getting through the competition, impacted my life, right? Every part of my life, my
Absolutely.
career, the way I think, the way I deal with people. I think it affected all of those things. I actually walk with. I thought I was a relatively confident, successful person prior to joining with you about a little over a year and a half ago. But now I have just a lot more confidence and concrete confidence that I feel when I just do my daily stuff. Just when I go out on the normal, regular day to day basis, it seems like I carry this kind of aura of self-containment, I have a sense of self and discipline where things that just used to be a little bit more challenging, like not going to a bar and not over drinking, or some things like that. I just don't have those problems no more. I'm so in touch with my body, how I operate, whether it's mentally and physically. And I think that's really been a real big shift. And it all, I think, is because I had a consistency that I don't think most people actually have been through. And we're talking about the 40-day fix in the nutrition and diet. And I think that's really kind of shaped everything that I do now, as far as the way I approach people, the way I work out, the way I train people. My empathy level for health has changed as well. Now when I see and work with clients, I have empathy for their plight, and I want to get them to the other side. So these are all things that have just kind of piled on since the competition. Is really trying to um, continue that discipline in every part of my life.
Well, you did really good, and I will tell you what you said there at the end triggered what I forgot what I was going to say. You said something that sparked my attention. Then at the end, you said discipline. What's amazing, whenever you get discipline, really disciplined in one area of your life, food is the primary thing. We were talking about before the
Yeah,
show. Me
yeah,
and
yeah,
Topher were talking about how food revolves around every social event you'll ever do. If
yeah.
you
It's
can
boring.
yeah, if you can discipline yourself in the area of food, you can discipline yourself in anything. And so now
Everything.
what it's true, man, because it's social, food social. And so if you can say no to the bad food when you're at a party or wherever you're else out, eventually you're going to the top because most people don't have that self-discipline.
And we talked about this, Don. I remember going through when we were going through my diets and stuff, and I was on the calorie deficits, and I would say, hey, I do go out a lot. I mean, as far as I go out to eat a lot, but I would talk to you about what meals, I just replaced my meals. So even though, and this is what I talk to a lot of clients about too. You give him a diet. Well, I got a dinner it's a birthday dinner for Joe, and we're going to
Yep.
Cyber, or we're doing this. And okay, great. I literally said, I don't, and it was a conversation I had with myself, and I would have it the first time I'd go to the restaurant and say, I'm on a calorie deficit. I'm not going to go and have to report back the calories, right? So I always would get salad with a chicken breast on top. I'm like, Don's not going to yell at me, right?
Yeah.
If I come back to him and say, hey, I couldn't eat that salsa and chicken dish that you had me eat, but I ate this salad with chicken breast on it. And that became a source of pride, right? Because it's now continuing that discipline, right? And
Yep.
taking the discipline out into the real world. I'm now at this restaurant with 6 of my close friends, and everybody's got drinks, and he's got a blooming onion, and she's got a big cheese pizza, and I am here, and I'm going to get my salad and chicken because this is my thing, right? This is my health that we're talking about. And I think
Yep.
that really resonated. It's changing my habits. And I told you, now that I eat clean, life is boring. People don't call me up for dinner no more, and I'm not going out, and we're not meeting up for chicken strips. So
Yeah.
you really have to kind of come up with alternative ways to really socialize after you start taking food and stuff like that out. So
Oh yeah, I bet. What's amazing too, because been there. Whenever you do something different, than everybody else, even though it's not a big deal. I mean, you could have 10 beers and nobody's going to say anything. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't say anything
right.
to you. But you have your chicken breast, your salad. All of a sudden, people are like, "Wait a second here."
What are you doing? Right, right,
It makes
right,
them so uncomfortable.
right.
Success. People, I tell this to people all the time. People won't forgive you for two things, and you can write this down. This is strangeism. People won't forgive you for two things: success and failure. They don't care if
Yeah.
you're just swimming down a dead fish
Oh,
can swim downstream. People don't care as long as you're normal. But if you
yeah.
start, the chicken breast had more of an impact than if you had had 10 beers and been sloppy drunk,
Absolutely,
which is
absolutely.
that's actually sad. Because I'd have been
Right.
like, you're the man. If I'd have been there,
Right.
even you're the man. And even as your trainer, I'd be like, I'm getting the pizza, Topher. And you say, go ahead. I'm still eating this
Yeah.
because you're
Yeah.
on it. I love
Right.
that, man.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
last question I got for you. If you could give one blunt piece of advice for somebody who's 50 years old and about 40 pounds overweight, what piece of advice would that be? And they feel like it's too late. What would that piece of advice be?
Stop making excuses. Stop making excuses. I mean, because that's really what it is. We're always going to come up with ways to not be in the gym. We're always going to come up with ways to keep status quo. And status quo for a lot of people is coming home at night with their snacks and their Netflix, and it's not motivating themselves. And then they sit there and they wonder, wow, why am I single? Why is my relationship? Why is this? Why do I feel like crap? Why do I look like crap? They don't want to look in the mirror. It's all excuses. We will pound ourselves with enough excuses to keep our bodies in a bad state because it's easy. It's easy. It's easy to come home from work and grab a bag of Cheetos and do like a frozen burrito in the microwave, bag of Cheetos and a couple Diet Cokes, because obviously you don't want to put all that sugar in your body. You
Yeah.
know, it's easy to do those things. It's not easy to live a disciplined, healthy life. And then once we get that fat on us, we think it's too late, right? We can't ever picture ourselves for some reason with abs. We can't
Mhm.
picture ourselves in that healthy state. We think it's too late, and it's not. It's just an excuse, and
Yep.
like you told me and I tell them, do what I say and you'll get results. That's it. That's it. It always comes down to that. As easy as the answer is to lose weight, it's very hard for people to do, Don.
Oh, I
you know
100% trust me.
it's super easy. Just do what we say, and you will have results. That's it. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. It's not rocket science. This isn't new. Health and nutrition isn't new. It's evolved and progressively gotten better over the years of my lifetime, over the 54 years I've been on this earth. So now it's the time to embrace it, and I guess, we get people on the Ozempics and the things like that. And hey, for people that have to do that, that's great, but you don't have to. You don't
Yep.
have to. You don't necessarily have to. If you wanted to get off the fat loss drugs, you just get a trainer and listen to them.
Absolutely. I could talk about that topic for 15 minutes, but I'm not going to do it right now.
Well,
Topher, by
we're
the
a fast society here. We want things now, buddy. We want them now.
oh, absolutely. Instant gratification instantly
Yeah.
right now.
Yep.
But I think I will do a podcast on GLPs, the good, the bad,
Yeah.
the pros and the cons. There are pros, there are cons. But literally, Topher, I'm
And
so proud.
honestly, for
Go
some
ahead.
people, I think too, for some people that maybe, because I don't want to throw it all under the bus, but I think for some people, maybe you are well above your weight. That I know the value of when you start seeing results, right? So if
Mhm.
you're 300 pounds and you can't, you can't hardly move, a diet with me might take a little bit longer to see results than say Ozempic. Well, those results can motivate people. It can start to promote some positive change with inside of you that gets you to the gym more, right? That
Oh, yeah.
gets you into that healthy state
100%.
more. So I
Yeah.
think that yes, it could possibly motivate, and it does probably in some cases. Someone gets on Ozempic, they lose a good 15 pounds. Wow, all of a sudden they're feeling better. Hey, I want to do this. I can do this now. I feel like I can do this, and they get to the gym. I mean, ultimately, that's what I'd like to see is people getting back into the gym and getting this done holistically.
Mhm.
With food and nutrition. But it doesn't. I don't think it works. I'm not convinced that fat loss drugs and dieting with a trainer, I don't see that much of a difference besides the fact that you don't have to go to the gym over here, right?
Yeah.
But the overall long-term effects, that's what scares me, right?
Yeah.
I know that good food and clean food over a long period of time is healthy for my body. Bottom
Yeah.
line.
100%. I'm just going to say this about GLPs. If you're on a GLP, the one problem that I have with it, I wasn't going to talk about it, but going to, the one major issue with the GLPs is the protein malnourishment. The average American gets 40 to 60 grams of protein a day. Whenever you read this book, you'll hear about the foundational macronutrient, which is protein, which is drilled into Topher's head. I drilled in for day one. How many times did I say protein is the most important macronutrient?
Every time.
Every time, because I wanted it drilled in your subconscious mind, because a lot of people don't know that it's not relative. And now it's getting some press, but for years it didn't. It was scary. Protein's scary. No, it's a macronutrient of rapid body composition transformation. It's the most important macronutrient. Swiss Army knife of nutrition. But the problem is, and it's actually the building block for everything in your body that you want. So it's about 70% of your body weight. The only thing that has more weight in your body is water. So it's the most important macronutrient, bar none, nothing even close. And the problem is people don't like it because we have so much processed crap. We talked about it earlier. People love the processed crap. I do too. So does Topher. Topher doesn't eat it. We don't eat it much. We do occasionally, with the exception, not the rule. The problem with GLPs is if you don't change the way you eat, you're going to lose muscle mass. The standard American diet, people lose 30% muscle mass whenever they're getting on a diet. That is unacceptable because metabolism goes by. It's a yo-yo. It's a fat cycle. It's the weight gain, fat loss revolution. You gain weight, you lose fat. You gain weight, you lose muscle and fat, and then you gain more weight. It just keeps, it's a cycle. GLPs do the same thing. You have to change the way you eat. If you don't, you're striking out. So I would say this: if you get on doing a GLP, get this book. It's going to make adherence a lot easier because this book is a drastic calorie reduction. It is. I get rid of energy and macronutrients. It's not food you necessarily love. You're not going to fall in love. It's not chemical entertainment like Lucky Charms. I love that stuff, by the way, but I don't eat it much because it's addicting. Anyway, so that's my rant on GLPs. If you're going to do a GLP, make sure you get on a diet that's sustainable and a foundation, the 40-day fix. Anyway, Topher, thank you so much for being on the podcast with me. I appreciate it. And the reason why Topher got results is because he's a disciplined man. He stopped worshiping motivation and he actually started building the engine, the habits that got him to where he is right now. He did the 40-day fix, this book right here, which is, you can check on that QR code right above him. You can get it right there. This is the blueprint. If you want the blueprint for success and fitness, this is where you start. It's a foundation for health. Thank you guys so much. There's show links in the bottom for this book. Also, all the links. If Topher wants me to put his Instagram handle, his Facebook handle, I'll do that. Topher, you can tell me after the podcast, but mine will be on the bottom and links to this book. And same way with, if you want to reach out to me for training. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully you enjoyed it, got something. Please, if you liked it, share it with somebody. There are so many 50, 40-year-old men out there that think life's over for them. They think they can't they can't build the muscle mass. They can't get in shape again. Topher and myself were prime examples of it. It can happen. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it.
Stop thinking and start doing. Information without execution is just entertainment. You have the truth. Now go do the work. Your body isn't lazy. Your excuses are. Get the tools you need at strangesculpting.com.